I actually have Arundhati Bhattacharya, the head of the State Bank of India.
Please ask her why they're not doing UPI and
Please
why
ask her. I'll ask
it.
her that and more. I'm requesting my panel to just hold by because this is a woman in the hot seat right now and we need to hear from her. Welcome to the program, ma'am. First, give us an overall sense of the chaos. Has the chaos reduced at all? Do the banks feel more in control? The common perception is that the ATMs are drying up, that there isn't enough cash. There is, of course, panic withdrawals that are on. I concede that point. But how would you assess the situation today?
I don't think there is any panic, first and foremost. And the second thing, I think whatever concerns people had, they are abating by the day. On Sunday, we did 10% less transactions than Saturday. Today, in the the southern states that are operating, we have done 25% less transactions than we did on Sunday. So obviously, the number of people who are coming to the counters is coming down. Most of our ATMs are now up and running. So yes, they are still having a problem of drying up quickly because we are still loading them with only 100 rupee notes. And there is obviously a physical limitation to the number of 100 rupee notes we can put in at any point of time. But having said that, we have completed the back-end calibration of both 500 and 2000 rupee new notes. We have already started dispensing 2000 rupee notes in a few ATMs today, and the recalibration at the front end is going on full swing.
Okay.
So to that extent, very soon we will be able to bring back much better normality in the ATM transactions as well.
What is the biggest hardship you're facing then? If you say there is no panic, what is the biggest challenge for the banks at the moment?
No, at this point, the biggest challenge obviously are the people who are coming in for the exchange, for the deposits, for the withdrawals. So obviously the number of transactions that we are doing are far more than what we normally do in such cases. For instance, in Savings Bank, on the very first day, I got 11,000 crores. In a normal month, I get 8,000 crores. What we get in a month, I have done 140% of that in one day. So obviously that's a challenge.
Ma'am, we now see media reports that the RBI did in fact want the banks to have 100 rupee exclusive ATM machines, and this order was passed by the RBI well before the announcement. Did the banks ignore this instruction from the RBI to be better prepared for this announcement?
No, the instruction from the RBI was only in respect of one ATM per district. It was not for all ATMs. I don't think you have seen the order properly, and one ATM per district was configured with only 100 rupees.
Do you believe that you needed more time to implement this policy better, or do you accept the government argument that the secrecy was key to the announcement?
No, I think, you need to accept the government argument in this case, because this is a huge step. And if you do this step after getting everybody in on the act, then, the impact would be much less. So to that extent, I think that the government has done the right thing. I also applaud the government for having that confidence in the banking system that we would be robust enough to handle this. Yes, people have been put to inconvenience. People have had difficulties. We accept all of that. But I think this is also a very golden opportunity to try and go as much digital as possible. And we are seeing in our POS transactions almost a 300% increase. In our internet banking transactions, 140% increase. And we are telling everybody that if you have a card, you can jolly well use that instead of going to the ATM, drawing cash and then doing the transaction. Especially in respect of hospitals and medicine shops. There are very few hospitals and very few medicine shops that don't have POS machines.
Ma'am, Meera Sanyal, who's of course headed a bank herself, raised the point of the UPI system. Why that could not have been pushed is something that Raghuram Rajan, when he was governor of RBI, did suggest doing. Wouldn't that have been a better way of proceeding than what we are seeing right now?
No, I think, you have to understand that every system has its own time that it needs in order to get worked into every institution. UPI, when it came into being, had several lacunae. Especially the fact that the reconciliation and the grievance reversal mechanism was almost absent. We have pointed out from SBI what were the difficulties. When if you have, for instance, a debit card of Bank A, and you use it to draw cash from an ATM of Bank B, then you will find that many of these transactions actually fail. If you look at my failed ATM transactions, how much come when they use it on my ATMs and how much it comes when they use it on somebody else's ATM. 70% comes when they use it on somebody else's ATM. The reason for this is that the transaction goes through several hops, through several systems. Now, in each of these hops, if there is some problem, even some power fluctuation, something that happens, then the transaction drops. Sometimes the cash is also taken out, but it actually doesn't get dispensed. In an UPI, we had counted there could be up to 14 hops, and we had therefore requested that NPCI should have a uniform application which everybody should use, which NPI did not agree to because many of the banks had already developed their own.
Right.
But as a result, the number of hops can be huge. You can have the application of one bank, draw from another bank, put it in yet another bank. So, the number of hops keep going up, and as a result, the resolution becomes an issue. However, in spite of that, SBI has implemented UPI. On our very first day, we did 15,000 transactions, which is 3 times that of everybody else put together till now in the system.
Okay. I want to ask you a last question. All this money that is coming back to the banks, right? 3 lakh crores and counting, according to the finance ministry, ma'am. What happens with this money? What happens with this money now? And is this black money or is this legal cash money? There's a lot of confusion over that as well.
No, that confusion you should ask the chartered accountants. For me, this is deposit that has come in. This is deposit that was not there in the banking system. We welcome these deposits because this will enable us to lend more. And obviously, because the deposits are coming in such bulk, this will reduce rates.
So you're actually saying that the banks that have been struggling with NPAs, the non-performing assets, this money can be used by the banks to maybe address that or to lend more. It's not money that goes back to the government coffers because there's a degree of confusion about that.
This money, there is no going back anywhere, nor will it be used for resolution of NPAs. This money is customers' deposits. As customers' deposits, customers can take it back. It is money that customers have put. They had kept it somewhere else, and for what reason I do not know. But maybe they were using it in their business, maybe they had it somewhere. So in any case, they have put it now into the banking system. They will retain the deposit or take back cash. Either way, it is customers' money. Government has nothing to do with this bit of money, nor is it going to be used for NPAs. However, if rates come down, and the second thing is in the medium term, if demand goes up, both of these will help in NPA resolution.
And quickly, ma'am, how long do you think before the system will normalize? Would you say 10 days? The Prime Minister asked for 50. What's the timeline you'd look at?
50 days is what has been given to us for completing of the demonetization exercise. But normalcy, especially in the ATMs, our intention is to try and do it as quickly as possible and maybe by end November. The problem is that in ATMs, when you recalibrate them, you actually have to physically go and adjust the sensors. It is a physical activity at every ATM that we have to do. And therefore, there are 2 lakh ATMs in the system. So obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time for us to get together the manpower that will go around and do these. Therefore, I believe that, if we get time by up till, say, end of November, we should be able to complete the entire job. In the meanwhile, we are doing a number of things to promote digital. Not only digital, we are also taking out mobile ATMs. We will be taking out mobile POS machines in order to disperse cash at different centers. So we are doing various things. We are energizing our business correspondents. There are 240,000 POS machines in the country that can dispense cash. So that also we are trying to energize the merchants to do these transactions. So a lot is being done to ensure that even this interim period, as much of help as possible to the people is given.